Okay, in this video, I'm going to give a fuller example of a tKinter application. What I found in looking through the Geeks for Geeks tutorial, it doesn't really give us a lot of information about how to bind buttons to functions. And that's kind of the point of what we want to be doing, okay? So I found this other example online. Where it's at doesn't matter. We'll go through and talk about this example, okay? Again, we're importing tKinter as TK as before. They're calling it window this time. Window is equal to tk dot to tk. The other way to do that, different from the other example. Both are fine. This is setting our initial window geometry to be at 300 by 250. That's width times height. We're also setting a background color. It's a weird purple, which I wouldn't set, but hey, any hexadecimal color you want is okay here. Okay. So, in fact, if I wanted to change this to green, I could do 0, 0 for the red portion, FF for the green portion, and 0, 0 for the blue portion. Should make the background color green. We'll see, because it's RGB. Should be. Okay. So that may be a very green. Okay. Then we're on the resizable window. The window resizable we're setting the width and the height both to be false, so we can't change that. By default, you can change both. Okay. Our window title is going to be a Celsius to Fahrenheit converter. Okay. We then have some labels here: label 1, label 2, label 3. All those something we haven't seen before. They're putting in actual fonts to whatever you want, font sizes. Also, the foreground color will be the text color, and the BG is the background color. Okay. They're also using the bold variant for a couple of these. Okay, along with the text. You don't need all that. You do need to have the window, which is the object that's going to where it's going to live at. Okay, and then you have to have the text. Is all. Okay, and then they're putting in a couple of empty L1 and L2 empty labels. Okay, the empty labels are where we're going to be able to write information to. Okay, so we then have an E1, we're going to call it's our entry box, which has a window and again a font. You don't have to have a font, they'll be default. And this, I think, is what's most interesting here. We have the two buttons, which again, we have the TK button, window, text. We've seen that before. They're setting a font, not a big deal, but they're setting a command here: command convert and command exit. Okay, and then we have another text box here, which has a width and a height that's disabled. Okay, and then we're packing all of this information. Okay, in this order is how it's going to be displayed. We go to our window main loop. Okay, before we look at the functions, let me go ahead and run this. Then I'll have to switch share so it's not so horrible on a phone. Yeah, that green is green. But anyway, so let's take a look at it. Okay, so here's what's running. Okay, so this is what they had out there. So we've got the Celsius to Fahrenheit converter. We've got entering the temperature, all that stuff, where we can enter it here, convert it here, display it there, and exit the application. Okay, and these buttons do work, but I didn't show that code yet, so let's go back and show that. Okay, back to PyCharm. Okay, so for a start, that green's a bit too much. We can go with white. I think white is all F's. Could be black. We'll see. You can play around with that, certainly. So we have a convert and we have an exit. So let's look at those functions. Okay. The exit we define, again, you define this before anything with your graphics. It has to be there. Remember, Python as an interpreted language needs to see it before it does anything with it. Okay. There's a window destroy command that's built in. Okay. So we don't have to worry about that. There's not a problem there. Okay. So we just call that function. Life's good. Okay. On the convert, we have more to do. Okay. So here we're setting some variables. Okay. The first C we're going to get from that entry one box. Okay. So E1.get, the entry boxes have a function built in that returns whatever's in them. Okay. And then we've got an int function to convert that to an integer. Okay. We're then going to do the formula for converting to Fahrenheit, or Fahrenheit here. Okay, again, since it's Python, we don't have to worry about what type it is. It's going to do an automatic conversion to a double. Okay. Then we're going to set on this T1 here. Okay. So the T1, if we look down here, T1 is this text window. Okay. Okay. So we're going to have here, we're going to change its state to normal. Okay. We're then going to, I'm not sure why it's deleting from that. Don't know. Then we're inserting an end, and then we're inserting F. Not sure what else is going on here. It's very interesting. And then we're putting the state to disabled. I understand the normal and disabled, that we're allowing it to the text box to be written to, okay, which is what we're doing here. And then here we're making it where you can't write to it again, so people can't just click on it. Not 100% sure what the delete is doing here. It must be something that they automatically put in there, maybe. Not sure. Okay, but in your example, you can include that if you want. If not, you can take it out, see what happens. Okay, but that's really all there is to it. To tie those functions, you can write whatever function you want into those buttons. Okay, so let's run it again as a better example, and hopefully I've got white and not black, so you can see it. Yeah, it's white. Okay, so let me switch the share again. Okay. So now we have it looking a little bit better. So that function is now available to us. Okay. Note that the other text box is down here and it's disabled. We can't see it at all. Okay. So I can enter, for example, 100 in Celsius, click on convert to Fahrenheit, converts it to 212, which is correct. Okay. I can then exit the application. Okay. So that's the basic idea there. Okay. So as you work through the example in class, you can look to this one to give you some more detail on how you're going to bind those functions that you create to the buttons. Okay. If you have questions, as always, let me know.